Russ Bobby, and I almost know about this more secondhand than firsthand, decided to call a meeting, and it was Russ, and Stanley Kresge was still alive, and Kellogg Kresge, Harding Mott from Mott, and Herb Dow, and Harry Tousley were invited. And Herb and Harry decided they wanted to take John Riecker to this meeting as well, so that they'd have their own lawyer there, I think. And I think those were all of the initial the first meeting's initial participants, or at least the first meeting I knew about. And came back with this wonderful idea that we really didn't know whether we were starting CMF or we were starting anything, but to get the major foundations to work together to essentially save the lives of philanthropy, because the outcome of this with the sliding payout and everything else would have been, first of all, they had to diversify, the others had to diversify fast, and it got better, but also you'd end up paying out. You'd have a limited lifetime rather than existing in perpetuity, which basically all of the donors of our foundations want them to exist in perpetuity, I mean, the ones I'm talking about. And so the first conference was organized, and we were called a conference of foundations. And 2 days in Ann Arbor at the Marriott, I think, actually wonderful speakers, but also wonderful breakout sessions, because it was people who really and truly cared about what they were doing and really had a stake in the whole thing. I mean, essentially, well, Russ might as well have been a Kellogg, for instance. He was so close to the whole thing and caring so much. But with Harding Mott and with Stanley Kresge and some of the other people who really were still family members. And also we had some educational sessions. And the decision was made, and again, I think it was at that first meeting, that we were a conference, and we would have a conference again the next year, and meanwhile, our marching orders for various people. Harding Mott is the one I think of most, but and when we reached a certain significant size, we would then perhaps become a council. And that probably actually had happened faster than we thought it would. And 75, so that's very fast. Because it became very apparent there was a lot of interest in the field in Michigan to do that. And so we actually became a council, had an office. The first office was in Grand Rapids, and believe it or not, Dottie was not the first, the first full-time staff. Someone else was. And it's almost, we haven't looked back since then. And because I was involved in politics, I think even early on, I at least knew my own congressman and I knew my own state legislators, which most people don't, unfortunately. And so I was really interested in becoming involved in that whole public policy part of the thing.